Gabe Jenkins back with you. Hope you're having a good day. Um, I am going to quickly go through a video showing you how to do something like this, where you're trying to repeat the same element again and again and again, across or across and up. You're creating what's called a linear pattern, where you're just making like a grid, right? It's like a certain number of repetitive things that go across, a certain number of things that go up. This is called a linear pattern, and there's actually a few different ways of doing it. I want to quickly walk you through what those different ways are. Okay, so the very first way, what we're essentially doing is we're taking a 9 by 9 square, that's the outline, and I got one circle that's got a diameter of 2, and it's offset a little bit from the bottom corner by 1.5 inches over and 1.5 inches up. What I'm trying to do is I want to make a 3 by 3 array, 3 by 3 pattern of that same exact element. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can either do it while you're still in the sketch, and then either extrude or cut those elements that are still in the sketch, or you can create a feature and then replicate that feature over and up. So let me show you the very first way to do it. So we're in this sketch right here, and if I am here in the sketch and I click on the sketch tools, you will find that there's something called the linear sketch pattern. So if I click on that here, it's going to give me this dialog box over here. First thing it's going to ask me is, what direction do I want to make these copies? And the assumption is that I'm going to make them along this x-axis right here. And it asks me, how far apart do you want these things to be? I'm going to say I want them to be 3 apart, and I want them to be, there to be 3 of them. Okay? And so it should give me those. Next, I'm going to have in the y direction, pick that right there, and I want there to be 3. I don't want them to be 10 apart. I want them to be 3 apart. And now it's going to ask me, what is the thing I should have shown right away? The thing that I want to make the pattern of is down here. The entities that I want to pattern is that. Okay, if I clicked it right away, it would have shown you what it looked like as it built it. So now it's making 3 across, 3 up. It's spacing them out according to how far apart I said I want them to be spaced out, and then how many of those elements do I want. Right? When that all looks exactly like I want it to, I can hit OK. And now if I want to extrude, this is the easiest way of doing this kind of thing. If I go to extrude, I can extrude just the background pieces. Right? Let's make it 2 so it's a little easier to see. Okay? And so if that looks like basically what I want it to look like, I've taken the background and extruded the background forward, but it cut out the circles. It didn't extrude those circles. Okay? So that's one way to do it. If I get rid of that, a similarly easy way to do it. So that was using a linear array inside the sketch and then using that sketch to build my shape up. But what if I wanted to create that hole first and then cut that out, right? So if I got rid of this, got rid of that element, and instead I just took this whole box and extruded, because I think this is how a lot of people think of it. I extruded that, right? Just made a little block, and then I want to make a new sketch on that plane. I'm going to make another circle. I'm going to say I want it to be 2 inches again, 2 inches, and I'm going to space it out. I'm going to say from here to here. I want it to be 1.5 up and 1.5 over. Let me grab that. I don't know what's going on there. All right. I got 1.5 up, 1.5 over. So I'm drawing a new sketch on here and say I just want to cut that. Cut it. Say I want to cut through all. Great. I don't want to go that direction. I want to go the other direction. Cut. Cool. So now I've got one cut out hole. Let's say I want to replicate that in a pattern across. So if I want to create a linear array, a linear pattern, I can either do it in the sketch, or I can do it like I'm about to show you. I can do it as a linear pattern of a feature, not as a sketch element, but as a whole feature. So I'm now here in features, and if I click on linear pattern, it's going to ask me, okay, what's the feature I want to do? I want to do that cut extrude. That's the thing I want to do. And if I'm going to make, let's say, direction 1, I have to pick which direction I mean by direction. So I'm going to say along this axis here. I don't want to go left. I'm going to switch the direction, space them out by 3 again, and I want 3 of them, right? So that's going to create a hole here and a hole here. Say I want 9 holes, right? So if I'm going to go to direction 2, I got to tell it what is direction 2. Well, this is going to be direction 2. And again, I want to space out 3, and I want 3 of them. I don't want them to go down. I want them to go in this direction. So all of that looks right, and if I hit OK, it makes a linear pattern. So you can create a linear array or a linear pattern of elements in a sketch, and then use those to do something, whether it's an extrude or a cut, or you can create the shape first and then like the feature first, and then use that feature and replicate it left and right and up and down. Okay? So quick thing, linear arrays, both in the sketch and in the pattern. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day.